Hey, so I was thinking about the whole thread that James got us kicked off on. Good job, James. And thanks for everybody who chimed back in. Um, so, a couple of things that I heard there: critical thinking and how it ties to science literacy. And then, actually, a third one, like Michelle asked, how do you teach thinking skills? So, yes. Those are great connections. And we're deep in the heart of science literacy that teaching science is much more about learning facts. We teach these scientific habits of mind, these critical thinking skills that are appropriate in science, but then they translate to these bigger things that everybody needs for science literacy and living in the world. So big thumbs up on that. You're seeing the dangers of traditional teaching and how it doesn't develop those thinking skills that everybody wants that as a science teacher. Even I would say traditional science teachers, they want that. But a video like the Private Universe makes us realize, ooh, it's not working. So, and then how do we teach it? So this addresses that point that Michelle brought up where she said she wants to teach thinking skills, but she can't seem to find out how. Actually, the research is pretty clear that there are no generic thinking skills. See if that makes sense. Generic thinking skills, critical thinking skills. If you try and teach critical thinking, it really doesn't develop well because there's no such generic things. But there are scientific habits of mind that make us better thinkers. In the same way, there's mathematical thinking and thinking about literature and thinking about history. But so as science teachers, we don't have to develop general thinking skills. We develop scientific habits of mind. So I would point you to the science and engineering practices. And have you think about those. I had them pulled up. Let me reach for them. I had them pulled up, and then I was having internet problem. So I would have you think about those as ways to develop scientific thinking. So, like asking scientific questions. Kids don't know how to do that, but we can teach them how to ask scientific questions. You can find resources on how do you develop the ability to ask good questions. And then you've developed that scientific habit of mind of asking questions. They're getting better at questioning, and they're going to be able to apply that in other parts of their life. Another SEP that I'm thinking of, so remember, I'm just looking at the 8 science and engineering practices. So I looked at analyzing and interpreting data. You can find resources like from the Learning Center on how do you teach kids to analyze and interpret data. Well, hopefully that would make sense with our whole discussion of critical thinking skills and kids being able to apply that in the real world. If you teach them how to analyze and interpret data in science, they can easily flip that over into analyzing and interpreting data in general. I won't go on with that. I'm just mainly trying to applaud you guys and then to make the connection, the hugely valuable connection of having kids learn by inquiry, having kids learn with the science and engineering practices. Remember, those are pretty much equivalent in my mind, is a great thing for kids. Well done on this discussion. Hope my thoughts help.